should say it's recording. Well, I hope it is. There you go. You're recording. Please tell everybody that they're being recorded. Okay, so this is just, we'll post these videos to Blackboard and you can pick them up. I'll send you emails from time to time. So email is my principal form of communication, right? That's how I communicate, email. So I'm glad to see that you all picked up my email from yesterday. You all responded to today. I would ask that going forward, if we have more of these Teams meetings, that you just confirm back to me that you picked up the invitation and you'll be attending. So just that I know for catering purposes that you're all going to be there. So that's cool. But as I said, if I need to get a hold of you, it'll be by email. It's not going to be by text. I'm not going to call you on your mobile or anything like that. So keep an eye on your email. And if you write to me or you need to get a hold of me, use email because that's how I roll basically at the end of the day. Okay. Right now, let's talk about. Okay. Well, before that, let me get a little bit of background on each of you. So we're going to go clockwise from the top. So Tabisa, I'm going to ask you to go first. And so what would be really helpful for me, and I'm going to make some notes here, is, you know, how did you find yourself here? Where did you do your undergraduate degree? Why the LLM in IP? And what sort of, in a perfect world, if you got what you wanted, you know, where would you be working in 5 years' time?
Talking about myself, Prof. But I've been at UJ throughout my undergrad studies. So I obtained my BA Law in 2018, my LLB degree in 2020. I found myself here because I found mercantile law in my final year very interesting. But to be honest, I'm here because I did not finish the exam paper, so I wanted more from the course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you did your LLB and your mercantile law papers, did you take any intellectual property papers? I understand it can be an elective in your undergrad degree at UJ. Did you take that elective?
Yes, as an elective, yes. I finally had.
Yeah. So you have got some exposure to patents and trademarks and all the rest of it. You would have covered it briefly in that course. Okay. And am I correct that in 2021 you would have done the first half of this LLM? So you would have had Prof. Alberts as your trademarks and copyright lecturer. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
And so now you're in your second and final year. So you will do my semester, which is patents, and then in the second half of the year you will choose one of those disciplines and do a sort of mini thesis, as I understand it. And students in the past have chosen patents, and you know, I think some of them think it looks easy on the day, but it comes back to haunt them. But if you choose to do your dissertation with me, you can be assured of my best attention. So that's great. And to be so, last question, are you working at the moment, or are you a full-time student?
I'm currently working at Dalro. I'm an intern right there.
Okay, you're an intern at Dalro. That's cool.
Yes.
Because Dalro is it's the royalty organization for copyright, isn't it? So you know all about royalty streams and collecting and passing them on to artists, and yeah, that must be a very interesting position. Are you enjoying it?
It's very challenging, but I'm enjoying it. Yes, yeah, it's very challenging.
And are you working from home, or are you required to go into the office now?
It's a bit of combination of both. Sometimes I go in, sometimes I work from home. Yeah.
Okay. And where are the Dalro offices that you work in?
In Braamfontein.
In Braamfontein, yeah. Okay, I thought so. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool. So yeah, you've got a lot of exposure to IP, and you know, I think this LLM will really benefit you, because you know you're already kind of in that sphere. You're cited on it. You've had exposure to it. You still like it after all these years. So that's all very promising. So that's great. Thanks, Tabisa. That kind of background is really, really helpful. So If we move on, moving clockwise, on my screen, that would be you, Ruda. So let's hear about where you did your undergrads and how you find yourself here.
Okay, I did my undergrad at Wits.
Okay.
So I did, yeah. So I did the BA majoring in law, then I did my LLB, which I completed in 2019. I never actually took intellectual property as an elective, although it was offered there. So with my master's, I'm just intrigued by the different areas of law. So I haven't quite picked one that grabbed my attention that I want to do that forever. So I just decided, let me try my hand at it, because I did see some interesting articles by some people in IP based in Cape Town. They were writing little articles on trademarks and the judgments that have been made, especially with the famous brands like Toblerone and Kit Kat.
Yep,
so I
yep.
think it might be an interesting, field to dabble in a bit. I am working as a risk and compliance officer at Africa New Law. So we deal with checks and guidelines for companies.
Did you say African?
Specific legislation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That doesn't sound very exciting, I have to be honest.
It's a lot of research. So I read all day.
Okay.
Yeah. I did do a little bit of labor law before, but then I found my way back there. So yeah, I think that's about it.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah, it sounds like you're following your nose. You like what you see. The fact that you're reading articles on trademark law and you find them interesting is very promising.
Yeah.
Not everybody can say that. So yeah, that's very cool. Okay. Let's see if you still like it after your LLM. But I think this course will definitely, if you choose to go into IP, it definitely give you a leg up. So that's great. Awesome. Dineo, how are you? Looks like Dineo might have frozen for the moment. So we'll leave Dineo for the moment. Dineo, can you hear us or not? You said you were battling earlier, so okay, no worries. Sally, you're up.
Good evening, class. I did my undergraduate with UNISA, and I decided to join UJ last year for my IP degree. I am currently an awaiting advocate. I did my privilege with the National Bar Council of South Africa last year, and I'm waiting for my admission, which is due on the 20th of February this month.
Admission
so,
as an advocate?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's
yeah.
really cool.
So the reason why I chose IP is because I found that it's an area of law that is less explored by legal practitioners. You find that it is more, it is mainly the big five who do IP. So I just thought, why not if I can just find maybe a niche line of business that I could explore? Because not everyone can have access to these big five companies. So I thought to myself, if I could have maybe experience, or if I could specialize in IP, maybe I could close the gap, between those who can't have access to the big five, and maybe it could be a good thing.
So, Sally, did you? I don't know a lot about becoming an advocate in South Africa, but my understanding is that you have to do a period of pupillage. Is that correct? Unpaid pupillage under senior counsel. Is that right?
Yes.
And that's in the bag. You've done it.
I've done that. I have written my exams. I passed, and I'm ready to go.
You're in. You've got your gown. You're ready to roll. So Sally, that's incredible. I just think that's so cool. Will you be practicing while you do the LLM with us? Will you be going to chambers in the day and doing your thing, taking instructions?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to start my practice, because if I get admitted on the 28th of February, obviously, I have to start practice as soon as possible. So I'm looking forward to joining chambers and see how it goes.
Okay. And which chambers do you think you'll join?
I'm still looking around. I'm still shopping around, because, mind you, I'll be a junior advocate, and I still I've spent almost a year of privilege without anything. So I would love to try something somewhere, at least where it's much cheaper for me, just to get started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to know, because you know, a lot of my clients, you know, every now and then they want a junior to do something cheap. So,
yeah.
I will make sure that by the time you've gone through my course, you will be able to discourse confidently on patent matters. So maybe you can take some briefs on those. So, you know, let's widen your skill set. Let's get those instructions coming in. That is very cool, Sally. I'm really, yeah, I like that.
That would be great.
Sally, just one last thing. You did your LLB at UNISA? Do you have an undergrad? Do you have a BA law or anything like that, or is it just straight? Did you go straight into the LLB?
It was straight into the LLB.
Okay, so you got no undergrad. Okay, and last year you were with Vim. This is your last year of your LLM. Okay, great stuff. Well, again, my congratulations. I think that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, Danae, are you still with us? I see you're moving, so that suggests that the line is live. So tell us your story.
Yes, I'm having a terrible network where I am, but okay, I'm an admitted attorney of the High Court. I've been admitted since 2019 September.
Okay.
I did my LLB with University of Limpopo in 2015.
Okay.
In 2016 until 2018, I joined a labor law boutique firm called Solomon Holmes Attorneys, and then I specialized in labor law. What triggered my interest in IP, I was faced with a matter wherein one had to establish whether the person had copyright in respect to a particular church name and whatnot. Yeah. So that's when I realized that then I've got limits in law. I need to explore this field, because I never had any exposure, even when I was doing my LLB. So that's what triggered my interest. And also that there aren't lots of Black young female in this space, so that maybe in future, when an opportunity comes, I'll be able, maybe for companies, for employment equity purposes, I can find myself maybe having that opportunity to help whatever company, that a corporate company in that space. So I'm currently an employee, supervisor, employee relations with goals. So what I'm currently.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we are having some problems with connection here.
Can you hear me?
The line is quite bad, Danae, but just tell me who you currently a supervisor of employee relations with.
In Goldfields Mine.
Okay.
South Deep,
Yeah.
Goldfields Mine.
Goldfields. Okay. And so, where do you work in Goldfields? Where are their offices?
We are working in South Deep. It's in Western. Yeah.
Oh,
West,
okay.
yes.
That's
That's where lots of mines in Johannesburg are. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And tell me, you did your Dineo at University of Limpopo. Do you have an undergrad degree, or did you go straight into LLB?
No, it was straight LLB.
Straight LLB. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's okay. That's pretty cool. So, admitted attorneys for the last 3 years. So you would know your stuff. You've done the bar. You've done the heavy lifting there. So that's great. Awesome. Passing the bar is no light matter. So I appreciate what you've achieved there. So that's great. Okay, so what has this taught me? That I've got a very high caliber bunch of guys. I need to be on the top of my game, but that's no problem. I'm just going to push you all a little bit harder because you guys know what you're doing. So this is going to be good. Okay, so let's talk about the way we do the course. Now, in my mail, I said to you that I really like face-to-face lecturing. And if it's at all possible that we can arrange that is something that I would prefer, to be honest with you. I think I've done online lecturing for the last 2 years, and I really feel that although my students got through, I wasn't happy with really the level of understanding that I was able to gift them, because when we're all in the same room and we've got a cup of coffee in front of us and everything, then I can see it in your eyes if you don't understand something, and I'll circle around and do it again. And I really think there's just so much more to that. And if we're in a boardroom, then there's a whiteboard and I can sketch concepts and we can write and you can take pictures of the board and everything. So I don't like those breezy lecture theatres at the Auckland Park campus. And I also find sort of weekly lectures a little bit disruptive, in the sense that, Wednesday evening, we're all a bit tired after a day's work. And now we've got to sit down and I've got to talk for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and then we all go home and have dinner, or maybe you've had dinner already or whatever. So for all of my previous years, what we've actually done, and this is entirely up to you, but certainly in my experience, it has worked very, very well. And we look to have a lecture every second week on a Saturday morning at my offices, at the offices of my law firm. I invite you to come round. We sit down in a boardroom. We have some coffee. There's Wi-Fi for you guys. It's very comfortable. And we sit down and we knock it on the head for about 3 hours every second Saturday. And we'll do that from now until about the end of May. So I would imagine we'd be kicking off on, what's today, 16th? Maybe it's up to you. We can have the first one this week or next week, and then we just bounce. So we have a lecture on Saturday morning, and then we have nothing for 2 weeks, and then we have another lecture on a Saturday morning. And I think, having these slightly longer 3-hour sessions every 2 weeks really allows us to get into the grips of some of the more tricky concepts, gives us a lot of time, and it allows you to you have a little bit of space, and it's more agreeable surroundings to actually embed the concepts. So I'm not too sure if that would work for you, if you want to try it for a couple of weeks, and then if it doesn't work, we can explore other options. If it's a hassle for you, then then we can maybe go back to online or explore different formats. But as I say, for 3 years, it's really worked well. Every second Saturday for 3 hours instead of 1.5 hours every week on a Wednesday evening. And I would suggest that the venue would be actually Melrose Arch. We've got offices there, and I don't know if you guys would be able to get to Melrose Arch for 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning, spend about 3 hours there and get yourselves home again. I don't know. As a concept, is that something that would work for you guys? Talk to me. Tell me if this is something that we could do. Thoughts?
For me, it might be a bit of an issue because I'm on a sports bursary. So some of my games fall on Saturdays. I don't have my schedule yet, but I do know this Saturday I won't be available in the morning as well. But it, of course, depends on the schedule as we go on. So I can't say at this moment, but I do know that some of those weekends I probably won't be available, but I'm happy to catch up if it's just me who would be affected by that on those few Saturdays.
Hi, Prof. It's not a for me. For me, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. But however, if it's going to be this Saturday, it's going to be challenging because there are some other plans that I have made for this Saturday. I didn't know that with regard to academics, then.
No, it doesn't have to be this Saturday at all. It can be, we can kick off on the 26th, or we can even kick off on the 5th of March if you'd like. There's no problem. I've started this course quite late. Before I started in March, because I was traveling, I had a conference a couple of years ago. We only kicked off in March. So it would be, there's a lot of flexibility about when we could start. It wouldn't have to be the 19th. That would be actually a bit of a shock to me as well. So, but if you're okay with Saturday mornings on principle, then okay, I'll mark that as down. Sally, Thabiso, how do you guys feel about Saturday mornings? Every alternate Saturday mornings?
I'm fine with Saturday. I don't have a problem.
Okay.
I think I'm also fine with it, Prof.
Okay. And Melrose Arch, you guys would all be able to get there. I don't know if you have cars or whatever, but it's on the Gautrain bus. It's got pretty good links, so and it's quite good. Okay, all right. Well, look, let's try it for a week or two. Rudo, what sport do you play?
I play basketball.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yes.
Very nice. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I used to play basketball at university as well.
Nice.
In my younger days. So yeah, it's quite a sport. I enjoy it very much. Okay, great. And are your games in the morning or in the afternoon?
So sometimes we schedule them for the morning, and then sometimes it's in the afternoon. It just depends on the scheduling of that specific day.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will talk to my coach about it before they do draft for the league that I know we're starting soon.
Okay. All right. Well, let's leave it like that. And while we're all together now, okay, we've all agreed the 19th won't work. I'm not available on the 26th, but I am available on the 5th. Now, having said that, I'll be in Cape Town for the 5th. So the 5th will have to be one of these, a Teams meeting. So shall we shoot for the 5th? For the first lecture, I'll send out a Teams meeting. We'll schedule from 9 to 12. They will be recorded, so you can come back and look at them, etc., etc. I'll post them up on Blackboard, and we can take it from there. So if you could all just pencil in your diaries now for the 5th, and yeah, we'll take it from there. And we're flexible, guys. We're light on our feet. And there's only 5 of us, so it's not going to be a problem to take one of our personal circumstances, each of our individual personal circumstances into consideration. I'm totally fine with that. There's a lot of flexibility. Okay, so I think that's great. That's how I'd like to work it. And I promise you, I also find that. The students, well, a lot of you know how a law firm works, but so to be fair, we will actually be in workspace at Melrose Arch, but it's where we hold our Joburg meetings. So it'll be, to all intents, like a law firm. We will have a boardroom, we will have a whiteboard, we will have coffee, we will have Wi-Fi, we'll have aircon. It'll just be comfortable, and we will maximize the learning experience, and that's what I'm after. I want you guys to be as comfortable as possible, so that so that we can really get to grips with the concepts. Okay. Last thing, what I'm going to do now is in the next day or so, I'm going to send you an introductory email. In that email, attached to it will be the syllabus. the lectures with proposed dates, the dates for the mini dissertation, the mini essay that I'll need from you, and then and sort of when we will look to finish the syllabus. I will also give you case reading lists, one for patents, one for designs, and I will also give you the recommendation for the textbook. Okay, so just give me a sec. I'll show you the textbook. It is this one. It's called Dean and Dyer Intellectual. I give you the ISBN. Don't worry about it in my email. But this is the puppy that we work from. Okay, because this one is there are more complex books that you can refer to if you need more detail on anything. But given that we have to do the Patents Act and all the case law, the Designs Act and all the case law, plus licensing, plus the Biodiversity Act, etc., there's a lot of ground to cover, and it's better to cover it in the basic building blocks of this book so that you can embed the basics and then build on it, rather than trying to dive into some turgid, flippin', absolute tome of a novel that goes into excruciating detail. Let's flit over it, get the building blocks down, and then we can build on areas where which are more interesting, like about method of treatment claims and the Biodiversity Act and how it impacts the South African Patents Act. All of this kind of stuff we're going to get to grips with, and we will do that. So that's the book I highly recommend you get. It'll have everything. We use about 4 or 5 chapters in it. I know Vim, I don't think Vim uses it, but it's got really good chapters on copyright. It's got really good chapters on trademarks, just to give you some revision as well. So even though I've been in practice for 30 years, this is the one that I have next to me all the time, because it's just pitched at the right level for a postgraduate degree in IP. It gives you what you need. So from that point of view, I really sort of like it. So that's great. Okay, I think that's it. We're going to ease in slowly to the course. So the first lecture will be soft, in the sense that I will just give you a presentation on intellectual property and in particular patents, and I will go over and touch on some of the important things, the important aspects of the Act that we will come into contact with as we go forward. And so I will, so then you'll be sensitized to the most important aspects of the legislation, so that when we come to do them in each of the lectures going forward, you will at least be able to contextualize them on the basis of the initial presentation that we gave. So today is the inaugural lecture, for once of a better word, but it was really just getting to know each other, settling down a kind of exam rhythm, lecture rhythm. The first one will be the introductory lecture, and then we really dive in and we start doing infringement and who's an inventor and all the good things about that. So it's a phased introduction, and like I said earlier, it'll always be along the lines of a philosophical approach to things. Why do we do this? What is the central tenet of the Patents Act, and how it all revolves around that, and all these different aspects of the Act that we will discuss are all in fact based on this central principle of the Patents Act, which is reward. If you make an invention, then you are rewarded for making that contribution to society. That is the central core of the Patents Act. Everything hinges off that principle, and you can see again and again how all the provisions are based off that. So yeah, that's it. So guys, I think that's everything for today. I haven't been chatting very long. It's just 45 minutes, I think. So so we're sort of all good. I'm going to be in email communication with you shortly, and I invite you to contact me by email anytime. I consider myself completely open door. Any questions now or in the future, I don't want you to have any hesitation to reach out to me, because that's why I'm here. By the time I'm finished with you, you will understand patent law one way or the other, and I will make myself available to make sure that happens. Yeah, and then, so I'll send you the syllabus, I'll send you the lecture timetable, I'll send you the cases, reading law, I'll send you the ISBN for the book. And if you've got any questions, you get hold of me. I'll send out another Teams invite just like this evening for the morning of Saturday the 5th at 9 o'clock. And we're good. How do you guys feel about that? Are you happy with that? Do you have any questions?
Happy.
Yeah.
No questions for now.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah.
No question from me, Prof. But I would really, from my side, I really appreciate that you have made a these classes can be attended during the day, because as ladies sometimes it's a 5:30 class and you find yourself having, if the lecture requires an physical attendance, you find yourself then having to go back home late. So I really appreciate that we will be given the opportunity to interact with you during the day.
Oh yeah, no, you're quite right, Danae, and thank you for that. But there are many reasons. I mean, nobody likes driving in Joburg at night, that's for sure. And nobody likes having a lecture on intellectual property on a Wednesday evening when you've just had a day that you just want to forget, you know. And you're hungry, or maybe you even have to cook for somebody. I don't know. Maybe you're not that lucky that you have somebody cooking for you. But yeah, so for me, the Saturday thing works well, and hopefully we can get it together. But as I say, we're flexible, and you know, the most important thing is that you guys have the most conducive learning environment, and I'm very flexible in that regard. And so that's what we're gonna look to deliver for you guys. Okay. Sally, are you good?
Yeah, I'm fine. But I just wanted to ask about your teaching technique. You said you're gonna send us the syllabus, right?
Right.
Yes. So for every lecture that we do, will you be sending the study material that we're supposed to do in advance?
Yeah, but you know, I'm not really one of those guys that requires a lot of advanced reading and stuff like that. So my lectures are very like interactive. So it'll be like this evening, where it'll be a bit of a conversation, and I'll walk you through the concepts, and I'll alert you to the important aspects of it. I'll point out the cases that you need to know about this, and we'll just chat about them, and I'll just make sure that you understand them, and that the basics are embedded, and then we take it from there. You know, you just have to demonstrate an understanding to me. So I'm not going to give you pre-reading lists or anything like that. I'm not one of those guys. I'm more conversationalist, and we walk through it together, and if you don't understand anything, we'll circle back after the lecture. Once you've had my summaries and once you've walked through the whole concept, then it's appropriate to go and read the cases, because then you'll understand, you know, kind of what we're talking about, because you'll have walked through the law, and then you can see how it breaks down in practice. So case law for me has always been more beneficial once I've got the basic building blocks and I can understand what the learned judge is talking about. So from that point of view, you will always be in possession of which cases I think are important, but I'm not going to be requiring you to have pre-read them for the lectures. No. If there's a change, I'll let you know. If there's something I want you to have done before the lecture, but I would struggle to recall when I have required that of my students previously. So,
Okay, because I think I do have personally I do have a challenge. I would prefer to have a reading list, because I don't want to come in the lecture and then you are doing the talking and then I'm trying to understand, to conceptualize the concept. At the same time, I can't give feedback because I'm really trying to grasp the concept. So
sure.
if I had read something, maybe at least the conversation might be smooth flowing.
Sure. Well, what I do give you is the chapters and the subheadings in Dean and Dyer that I'm going to cover on the day. So okay. you could pre-read Dean and Dyer. Okay. That would be great. And Dean and Dyer directs you to the cases and where it's applicable at that time. So from that point of view, that would be useful if you want to do pre-reading, and you will be in possession of what aspects of Dean and Dyer I will discuss on any given day. So that'll come through in my email in the next day or two, which sets out the syllabus and everything. It's all broken down to the same chapter headings as the Dean and Dyer book.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Tabisa, are you cool? Okay. Great stuff. Well, guys, I think that's everything from my side today. If there's no more questions, we can sign off. And you wait to hear from me. Don't hesitate to contact me, but I'll be in contact shortly. And then we'll see you again, regrettably, on a screen like this. But I look forward to meeting you all with a nice cup of coffee sooner rather than later in Melrose Arch, and that'll be great. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for your attendance. I look forward to seeing you soon. Cheers. Bye now.
Okay, bye.